Ava Collins was 32 years old when she finally realized that some of the deepest pain in life does not come from strangers, but from the people you expect love and support from. She lived in Seattle, Washington, and worked as a senior medical data analyst in a large regional hospital. Her job was to study patient records, identify hidden patterns, and detect medical problems that often went unnoticed by others. She was intelligent, detail-oriented, and highly respected in her workplace, but at home she had always been treated as less important. Ava was married to Ethan Collins, a quiet and supportive man who worked as a custom furniture designer. Their life together was simple but peaceful. Ethan was the only person who truly understood Ava without judging her. He had seen her at her lowest points, especially during the years they tried to have a child. For 5 long years, Ava and Ethan struggled with infertility. They tried everything: medical consultations, hormone treatments, fertility programs, and emotional counseling. Each attempt came with hope, and each hope ended in heartbreak. Ava experienced multiple miscarriages. Every loss felt heavier than the last, not just physically, but emotionally as well. She stopped talking about it to most people because explaining pain again and again became unbearable. After every miscarriage, Ava would return to her job within a day or two, acting normal in front of her colleagues. She became very skilled at hiding emotions. On the outside, she looked strong and stable. On the inside, she was slowly breaking. Ava never shared her struggles with her family. Not her mother, Catherine Collins, and not her older sister, Dr. Emily Carter. She already knew how they would react. Her mother always believed Ava was overly sensitive and not strong enough. Her sister Emily, a successful gynecologist, was considered the perfect daughter in the family. Everything Emily did was praised, while Ava's efforts were often ignored or criticized. Since childhood, Ava had faced learning difficulties. She struggled with reading comprehension in school, but instead of receiving proper support, she was labeled as slow and careless. Her mother often compared her with Emily, making Ava feel like she was never enough. Even after becoming successful in her career, that childhood label never truly left her. After her 5th miscarriage, Ava reached a breaking point. Ethan convinced her to visit a reproductive genetics specialist named Dr. Laura Bennett. For the first time, Ava agreed to do a complete medical investigation. Dr. Bennett ordered extensive genetic testing, including chromosome analysis, fertility screening, and reproductive health evaluation. Ava waited anxiously for weeks, unsure if she would finally get answers or just another disappointment. When the results arrived, everything changed. Dr. Bennett called Ava into her office and explained the diagnosis carefully. Ava had a condition called a balanced chromosomal translocation. It meant that parts of her chromosomes were rearranged in a way that did not affect her general health, intelligence, or appearance, but it severely affected pregnancy development. In simple terms, her body was creating embryos that often could not survive. This was not her fault. It was not caused by stress, lifestyle, or anything she had done wrong. It was something she was born with. For the first time in years, Ava felt a strange silence inside her mind. Not peace exactly, but understanding. She finally had a reason. She was not broken. She was not weak. She was not incapable. There was a biological explanation behind everything she had gone through. But then Dr. Bennett added something even more important. This condition is usually inherited from one of the parents. That one sentence changed everything for Ava. A few weeks later, Ava had to visit her mother's house in Ohio to help her with downsizing. Catherine was moving to a smaller home after retirement. While cleaning the upstairs hallway closet, Ava noticed an old wooden box placed on the top shelf, partially hidden behind folded blankets and old clothes. Something about it felt strange. She had never seen it before. Curiosity took over. She pulled the box down and opened it. Inside, she found a tiny knitted baby cap, an old hospital bracelet, and a footprint card. On the card was written a name, Lucas Collins. Ava froze. She read it again and again. Lucas Collins. She had a brother. Her hands started shaking. Her heart raced as she tried to process what she was seeing. No one in her family had ever mentioned a baby boy. Later that day, Ava confronted her aunt, Margaret's sister, who finally revealed the truth. Years before Ava was born, Catherine had experienced multiple pregnancy losses. One of those pregnancies had reached full term, and a baby boy was born, but he did not survive long after birth. His name was Lucas. After that tragedy, Catherine never spoke about it again. The grief was buried so deeply that it turned into silence. The box in the closet was the only remaining memory she had kept hidden from the world. Ava slowly began to understand something painful but clear. Her mother had also suffered multiple pregnancy losses. The same pattern Ava had experienced was not random. It was connected. If the genetic condition was inherited, then it was possible that everything had started from her mother's side. This realization did not bring anger immediately. It brought confusion, sadness, and emotional exhaustion. Ava realized that her mother was not just someone who judged her. She was also someone who had been silently carrying grief for decades, but instead of healing, she had turned that pain into distance and criticism. After her diagnosis, Ava and Ethan decided to move forward with IVF treatment combined with genetic embryo testing. It was a long and emotionally exhausting journey. Hormone injections, hospital visits, waiting periods, and constant uncertainty became part of their daily life. Out of multiple embryos, only a few were genetically healthy. Every step required patience and emotional strength. But they did not give up. Finally, Ava became pregnant again. This time, doctors confirmed that the pregnancy was stable and progressing normally. For the first time in years, Ava allowed herself to feel a small sense of hope. But she still chose not to tell her family. She had learned that some truths need protection before they are shared. As months passed, Ava continued her pregnancy carefully. Ethan supported her at every step. She attended regular checkups and tried to stay calm, even though fear never completely left her. At the same time, family relationships remained distant. Her mother still made subtle critical comments. Her sister still acted superior. Family gatherings still made Ava feel like she did not fully belong. But Ava had changed. She was no longer the same person who quietly accepted disrespect. She now understood her own value. The turning point came during a large family dinner in Chicago. The dinner was organized to celebrate her sister Emily's promotion and her mother's retirement from teaching. The house was full of relatives, laughter, and formal conversations. Ava sat quietly, observing everything. Inside her coat pocket was a folded letter from Dr. Bennett. She had carried it for weeks. During dinner, her mother stood up and gave a long speech praising Emily. She called her the perfect daughter and spoke proudly about her achievements. Then she turned toward Ava. With a slight smile, she made a cold comment about Ava's life, suggesting that Ava had always struggled and might never have the same success as Emily. A few relatives laughed softly. Emily smiled, but said nothing. In that moment, some tea. No one stopped her. Months later, Ava gave birth to a healthy baby girl. When she held her daughter for the first time, she felt something she had never felt before: peace. She named her daughter Grace. Ava decided that her child would never grow up in silence, judgment, or comparison. She would grow up in truth, love, and respect. Moral lesson: never judge someone's life based on what you see on the surface. Every person carries hidden struggles, silent pain, and battles you may never understand. Advice: before judging anyone, ask yourself, do I know their full story, or just the part they show me? Because sometimes, the quietest people are the ones fighting the hardest battles. Question: if you discovered a painful truth about your family after many years, would you speak it out loud, or keep it to protect relationships?